Very good afternoon and good evening to everybody joining us here from the Gaelic grounds for this County Junior A hurling semi-final. It's the second game of today, this bank holiday Monday, the 7th of June. Already towards the summit, or indeed there at least for the game next weekend, are Croke Kilfinney, who had a fine win this afternoon over Claughaun. It's the meeting of Patrickswell and DromBroadford, a meeting of the City team versus the West team. What way will this go after 1 hour of what we should hope will be a brilliant fair? It's been 8 months since this fixture was originally fixed, way back on the 11th of October 2020. These two teams were scheduled to cross swords, but unfortunately circumstances dictated that it's today the game will be played, and of course everything still very much at stake as it was way back in October. We're going to give a quick rundown to the teams in just a couple of moments, but we have a few minutes before the start of the game. Delighted to be joined by Jerome O'Connell of the Limerick Leader. Jerome, normally we talk about form coming into these games at a county semi-final. It's a different scenario for this game at least.
Yeah, certainly the form goes out the window, and we've seen that in the first semi-final already. How do you go about preparing a team when you last played on September 25th or 26th of 2020? And, back then, these were probably two of the form teams. They both had big quarter-final victories over two, the contenders. Patrickswell beat Castlestown Ballygran 114-13, and DromBroadford beat Killeedy, wasn't it? Who, two teams that have been in the shake-up in recent years. So they were big victories for both sides, and would have had great momentum back last September, October. And right now, very, very hard to know what either side will have, and they'll be relying a lot on, even the team selections are pretty much the exact same as they would have been last year. They can't have done anything extra to change anyone's mind in the times of the last 8 months.
Yeah, and indeed, and while we look at the teams, Patrickswell line out with Gary Murphy between the goals. Keith Dundon, James Carrick and Brian Nolan are in the full-back line, with Adam Carrick, Cian Enright and Paul Binnis on the half-back line. Midfield will be Jamie Dillon and Dara Hearn. Half-forward line, Jonathan McMahon captains the team from number 10, Brian Fitzgerald is at 11 and Pa Mann is in there at 12. While on the inside line, the veteran Barry Foley, Paul O'Brien, Shane Hannon listed to start, but I think Peter Harty, I just see him rolling over there to the right half forward position. It looks like that he is going to start in the inside berth for Patrickswell. For DromBroadford, it's Mike Bice in goals, Jack Ryan, Kevin Noonan, who captains the team at fullback, and Michael Ryan are in the fullback line. It's Garrett Noonan, Sean O'Sullivan and Jimmy Kiley in the halfback line, Brian Ahern and Jack Pearce partner at midfield. Inside, it's Keith Lacey, Brian Noonan and Dennis Dunnigan, while in the full forward line it's James Molyneux, Damien Burke, and the man they'll be looking to do all sorts of damage to this afternoon is Derry McCarthy. And we're underway for the County Junior A hurling semi-final of 2020, the 7th of June 2021. And it's DromBroadford who find themselves in possession early doors. And it's coming out with Sean O'Sullivan playing the ball across the field, looking to get his halfback Jimmy Kiley on it. He drives it long. It's Gary Murphy's to take. It's well taken by the Patrickswell netminder, sending it back down towards Jimmy Kiley. But it's Kiley who gets underneath it. Jamie Dillon just away from it. It's Damien Burke moving in on his right side. First shot of the game from Damien Burke, but it goes to the right-hand side and wide. So wide number 1 coming for DromBroadford. And it's a game, it's just 50 seconds old, and it's Gary Murphy with his second touch of the day. Positions not meaning a whole lot, lots of changes in terms of where players started, but we'll get you those as they come, as Brian Fitzgerald breaks it for Jamie Dillon. Dillon stepping out away from the corner forward, Derry McCarthy treading this ball through, trying to get Jonathan McMahon onto it. It's Barry Foley being shepherded there by Jack Ryan, and Johnny Murphy, our match referee, saying that Foley was pushing in the back just as it came. Lively start, Jerome.
Yeah, and it looks like it's Peter Harty into the starting team in place of Shane Hannon. Captain Jonathan McMahon has gone into the corner forward position now. Would have played some of last year at midfield, but he's now a corner forward, and Peter Harty has started in the half forward line. For DromBroadford, Jack Pearce has gone in to corner forward, and Derry McCarthy out to midfield, a switch which probably would have been expected from their point of view.
So Johnny Murphy, something has been brought to his attention, and down there with Brian Noonan and Cian Enright, but nothing seemed to have happened from that as DromBroadford cleared their lines, and it's Damien Burke puts his hand up well. Limerick under 20, of course, 2 seasons ago. slips back inside, and again one that they'll be looking really tight this afternoon to lead the troops is Brian Ahern. Gets the ball in hand, good pressure from Patrickswell, and it's Brian Fitzgerald who pushes them back into the corner. Mikey Ryan coming out with it now, left-handed on top, and he's trying to spoon it away, and that he does to Brian Ahern again. Ball is spilling on the ground, touched by Barry Foley. Jamie Dillon fancies a shot, Dillon's shot goes in, and we have the opening score of the game, and it's Jamie Dillon from midfield after 2.5 minutes of play, and a fine score from him, one that will settle the nerves for Patrickswell.
And Patrickswell look very energetic so far, I have to say. A lot of hooks and blocks are really getting bodies in on top of the ball so far, and we won't expect either side to carry that through for a full 60 minutes, but they've certainly started very energetic, won a lot of the breaking balls around the middle third.
And the puck out from Mike Boyce ran towards the near sideline here, but touched out, and that looks like Paul Binnis who got the final touch on it. So Binnis, of course, normally a goalkeeper, has transferred to out the field in the last number of years as Garrett Noonan steps up to take this, and a man, of course, with plenty of experience with the Gaelic grounds from his many years with the Limerick senior footballers, and indeed what a servant he was to the green jersey for those many years that he wore it. It's his counterpart Dennis Dunnigan who's moving forward here. Dunnigan, and that's a really good hook there, and that's Paul Binnis who got it, and out comes Brian Nolan, and Nolan looks to clear his lines long, and he does well down into his full forward, and that's Paul O'Brien, but it's Barry Foley moving inside. Good touch away there, and that's Brian Ahern who gets it, but Foley's holding onto it. Big frame, hard to manage, and it's Brian Fitzgerald breaking through, left hand on top. He fancies a go that cuts off. That looks good from here, and that's a super score from Brian Fitzgerald. And as Jerome O'Connell said just moments ago, great work from the Patrickswell men, working hard to get that ball back.
Yeah, and they've been on top, in both defence and attack so far. DromBroadford just look to maybe get an old score to settle themselves before Patrickswell are, a couple of scores ahead of them here. And,
good hit there from Dennis Dunnigan, and it's Paul Binnis who chips it well to Jamie Dillon. Nice play. This looks like Jonathan McMahon. And it is. He turns to his right. McMahon fancies a go at it, plenty time, but that's going to drift. And it drifts poorly to the right hand side and wide. Mike Boyce, I'm sure, looking to get things rolling fairly quickly. Match fitness, as we said, is going to be telling as this game goes on. Of course, we're still in pods of 15 as Jamie Dillon looks like he got a little bit of a knock. We're still in pods of 15 in training, even though there can be contact. So that would say that no team has had full match practice, and this would be the first of it this afternoon if I'm correct. And it's Paman just breaking it down in front here, and Dennis Dunnigan getting in there well, and it's Garrett Noonan now trying to flick this ball forward. Paul Binnis has Dara Ahern for help. Ahern, crossfield ball, far out from the goal is Paul O'Brien. Touch just eludes him as it's Jimmy Kiley, does really well there to Derry McCarthy, cutting back inside. This man can run, this man will open the space if he can. He doesn't have to because Brian Fitzgerald has fouled him, and it's going to be the first chance for, is it Damien Burke? No, indeed, it's going to be McCarthy himself who's going to take it. Bang on midfield. Conditions absolutely ideal here, and let me tell you, the Gaelic grounds is looking absolutely beautiful as well. It's been a busy weekend in this ground, but the pitch hasn't shown any of the effects of it. Of course, Limerick ladies football here yesterday, Limerick beating Cork here on Saturday night, and indeed 2 wins for Limerick. Of course, ladies footballers won as well, as Derry McCarthy plays that in. It goes off the upright, and vigilant there was James Carrick. Out to Jamie Dillon, through the line, onto Peter Harty, and again it's down the line to Jonathan McMahon, and there with him for company is Michael Ryan, does well as he turns back outside and tries to play it on, and it's Brian Ahern coming into the middle there, stroking that ball long, but on his own back there is the centre back Keenan Wright, man with the red helmet and a famous Patrickswell name, of course, that is Enright, as he plays it forward to Jamie Dillon, half hooked, loads of space around the Gaelic grounds. That's a treading ball in. It's Barry Foley just off his fingertips, and it's cleared out by Mike Boyce, and that was half a chance for Patrickswell there as Garrett Noonan gets back, turns and surveys what's in front, trying to get Dennis Dunnigan onto it, but Paul Bennis does really well. Battle for possession on the ground. Brian Fitzgerald loses it, and Dunnigan has it, decides to go across the field. That's Jimmy Kiley now, turning out to his left as John Murphy sees a free inside, and it looks like James Carrick was holding up one of the DromBroadford players in there. And it's going to be a free in from the edge of the D, and after 7 minutes of play, it looks like we could have the first score of Dromcollogher Broadford's county semi-final here, Jerome.
Yeah, that was the big frame of James Monlow, just ran from left to right, and I just a bit of a tug from the defender there, and well spotted by Johnny Murphy. And this one for Derry McCarthy is a lot easier than the last one. And just looking back at notes there, he scored 12 points in their last outing, but it was 8 full months ago, of course, so we'll allow him that opening one, but he taps that one over the bar for DromBroadford off the mark just after 7.5 minutes.
And of course McCarthy will be their go-to guy, I would think, in the forwards as well today, as will Damien Burke, and it's played out by Gary Murphy, short to Paul Binnis, nice little touch on to Brian Nolan. Nolan clips this one down this near side, looking to find Barry Foley. Ball breaks away from Foley, and it's incoming Brian Ahern, flicking it back here to Garrett Noonan. And of course, ball is being played across, patient by Dromcollogher Broadford. This is Sean O'Sullivan. He's got more time than he thinks now as Palman approaches to get the tackle in. Playing it away to Damien Burke, but cut out by Dara Ahern. Ahern moving across now, treading it low inside, but nobody that deep, only Garrett Noonan, who's retreated well. Short pass, out it comes to Jack Ryan, gets past him. Dara Ahern fancies a cut at this. It's going to go to the right hand side and wides. Second wide of the afternoon for Patrickswell. And so we
Patrickswell forwards just seem to be rotating around, and they're getting a lot of space. I think the Drum defence are just finding it tricky to pin them down at the moment. They're often leaving just one man inside full forward, and that's why you're finding Barry Foley and John McMahon coming out the field.
So Palman does well there, wins the puck out, which just came short only as far as the DromBroadford 65. They'll be hoping to get better on that, as the breeze is not really significant as we watch Paul O'Brien moving forward now, getting away from Derry McCarthy. Both these men can move. Back to Jamie Dillon. Chance to plant a foot and have a strike. Dillon looks good. Mike Bice looks up and over, and that's Jamie Dillon's second of the afternoon. And after just 9.25 minutes these men can move. Back to Jamie Dillon. Bags number 2 from midfield. Good score.
Yeah, good score, and he's been really prominent himself, and Dara Ahern. I've heard a lot of ball in midfield already.
It's Derry McCarthy trying to play it forward, and it's that man again, Dillon, pretty much where you were just a couple of moments ago, and he thanks Derry McCarthy for that one because he had little to do, and within the space of 30 seconds, Dillon gets his second.
Yeah, and they've looked crisp from the start, Patrickswell, and they're just showing it there again. That's great striking from Jamie Dillon. 4 shots at goal already and 3 points. Yeah,
and it's flicked away here. Palman playing it up this near side, getting it to his inside line. This is a tough one for Kevin Noonan to deal with as Paul O'Brien gets away. A real chance of a goal here. Paul O'Brien moving through, a goal for the well. And dare I say it was coming. The high ball in wasn't dealt with that well, and Paul O'Brien moved through. A second chance of asking. He clipped it to the back of the net. A tonic start for Patrickswell, Jerome.
Yeah, and a great score from Paul O'Brien, and it's almost a carbon copy of what we saw just a few minutes earlier when Barry Foley again onto at the end of a long high ball into the square, and just off his fingertips or maybe even off his helmet on that occasion. But Paul O'Brien, once he got it in his hand there, it really had goal written all over it.
Adam Carrick doing well that time, but puts his hand back up to Pat Dunn and says, that is my fault, shouldn't have played it over there. As Dromcollogher Broadford get a chance to put Derry McCarthy on a free and get a chance for him to strike the ball at the goal. 60 yards out on. And we're looking down at the breeze here, Jerome, and I'm saying it's not significant at all, even though some of those puck-outs by Mike Bice just haven't come to midfield for whatever reason.
Yeah, it seems to be a swirling breeze, because when I look across towards the Cratloe Hills, I can see a flag that suggests that it would be favouring DromBroadford. And
Derry McCarthy, while we talk about the breeze, scores Drum's second of the day, and dare I say they need it, because it's 1-4 to 2 now. on 11 minutes and 20 seconds as ball is pucked out, and it's going to find Dara Hearn. He breaks it down to himself and he does really well, but that's Derry McCarthy putting pressure on. Good man Derry. Sean O'Sullivan moving forward, looking up at what's ahead. Jimmy Kiley makes a run, but he decides to play it off inside, and it looks like Jack Pearce off to Kiley. Kiley's shot is well blocked down there, and it's going to be out over the far sideline, and that's Dunico O'Callaghan over there, as it's going to be a Dromcollogher-Broadford line ball. And that looks like Kelvin Lynch, Jerome.
Yeah, I just saw number 20 over there. We weren't notified that he had started, but I'm just wondering, did he actually start in that far corner back position?
So Kelvin, of course, brother of Cian, and starts, we think, maybe in place of Keith Dundon, because that would be where Keith Dundon would be playing, at that right corner back, as Dromcollogher-Broadford come on the attack, but Johnny Murphy says that's played, thrown, and it's going to be a free out. Of course, Patrickswell, a club with a rich tradition, and winning junior titles in 1955, 1957 and 1999. Of course, beating Newcastle West in that 99 final, 110-17. A bad wet day in Kilmallock, if memory serves me well, and I think I'm right. As the ball is played forward, as Jonathan McMahon clips this one in and over the bar, and a really good score from McMahon. He brought it down, he made it himself, and over the crossbar. Fine score from the captain of Patrickswell, and well, that puts them further ahead as the Jamie Burke comes forward with it. Burke fancying a shot at this, but it's wayward. Second wide of the afternoon for Dromcollogher-Broadford.
And you mentioned 99 there, and of course that sent Patrickswell up into the intermediate grades for a few years, and having watched the Kilmallocks and the Napirshigs second string in recent years surge up the table, I've no doubt that it's something that Patrickswell would like to follow them as well and get their second team out of the junior ranks.
I'm sure it would. It's back with Dennis Dunnigan into midfield for Dromcollogher-Broadford, and here's Derry McCarthy looking to tread his way through, being followed there by Paul Bennis, I think it is, and it's off as far as Brian Noonan, and the just Dromcollogher-Broadford failing to hold on to possession. As it comes out, Peter Harty is going to come onto it, decides to lob it in here as far as Barry Foley. Danger here. Foley breaks it down, gets the chance at the second time of asking, pivots as he strikes it in and strikes it over the crossbar. And Barry Foley, a man that we associate with famous scores in this ground, has got another. He's put his team 1-6-2 ahead as we play just coming up to 14 minutes here in the Gaelic Grounds in this county junior hurling semi-final. Back with play, it's Brian Fitzgerald fancying another shot. It's going to drop short. Is it going to drop in? Good hands by Kevin Noonan back there. Comfortable from the Dromcollogher-Broadford defender, looking to find Derry McCarthy. A good ball to him. Moving forward is McCarthy. Lovely skill. Hasn't taken in his hand yet, just has now. And it's going to fall short to Gary Murphy, and after a promising build-up, that's going to sail to the right-hand side and wide. So pretty much fast enough pace as Murphy gets it out again. And well, that's a brilliant hand over there. It looks like Jack Pearce or is it Dennis Dunnigan? In fact, putting it in on top of the Keith Lacey. This could be dangerous here. He's got 3-1 Patrickswell there, but Lacey does well, holds it up, and adjudged to have been fouled by Brian Nolan, and it's going to be a 21-yard free here. Jerome, it's 1-6-2 down. You're in front of the goal. What would you do?
Yeah, I haven't seen Derry McCarthy's just looked out towards management there. I thought it was a glance out, but I didn't see any instructions going into him. You'd be thinking you might be tempted at this stage, because having seen the score in the first semi-final, and with the whole 8 months break and everything like that, you'd be wondering a game could get away from a team very, very easy here. I think it'd be nearly worth a crack. I think it's probably not something he's going to opt for, though.
Nope. And with that, Derry McCarthy brings us to the water break, and it's a badly needed score for Dromcollogher-Broadford as they go back in just to have a quick drink. And 16 minutes here, or just before it, Pa Dundon, the Patrickswell manager, will be definitely the happier of the two teams here. But you just feel Dromcollogher-Broadford, they just haven't settled yet, Jerome.
No, it looks like they haven't even opened their lungs at all yet. I can see him coming out here. This break might be just exactly what they want. I'm by no means a fan of the water break, but if you were the DromBroadford management right now, you'd be absolutely delighted. Just get a minute or two to settle them down there and try to I suppose to relax a little bit, because they just, they're used to the ball. They haven't strung a couple of passes together. And when you flip it over and look at Patrickswell, they've looked so hungry, so crisp. They're used to the ball. They've, Jamie Dillon, some great scores, some play, and then when they switch it up and they just go long into the full forward line, they're benefiting inside there. They got the goal from Paul O'Brien, they got another point from Barry Foley, so they have both options. They can go it long or they can shoot from distance. So right now they seem to be holding a lot of the trump cards,
and it's something that I suppose on the opposite, DromBroadford haven't done. They haven't played that high up in the Patrickswell full-back line. We saw Keith Lacey winning a very good free there, but it hasn't been too many times that it's been in there, troubling James Carrick, Kelvin Lynch and Brian Nolan in that full-back line.
No, and I suppose we've 14 minutes played and they haven't a score from play, so they have 3 wides, all right, but I think most of those wides were probably aimless enough shots from distance. So, they haven't got real good ball in hand, turned to face a defender inside in that full forward line. And James Monlow's in there. He scored 2 goals when they won that quarter final against Killeedy. If he can get ball in hand inside, and I know he won one of the frees which Johnny Murphy spotted him being pulled as he tried to make a run, but they need to get people like him with ball in hand. So far from a Drum point of view, you're talking about Derry McCarthy, Carrot Noonan, maybe Sean O'Sullivan. They need to get more guys having an influence on the game.
And it's Gary Murphy in the goal at our right-hand side, who's going to take this puck out, and he's going to restart play here. I'm sure both management teams using the opportunity to give a few words of encouragement as the ball goes high and long from Gary Murphy, breaks in, and it's won well back there by Kevin Noonan. He plays it out. Brian Ahern does well here, trying to move it forward, but Jamie Dillon wins it at second attempt as he plays it forward to his captain, Jonathan McMahon, swinging right around, and that should be one for Mike Boyce to deal with, and he does comfortably so as he moves the ball across the far side of the field. And that's Paul Bennis trying to follow Damien Burke. The ball has beaten both of them, and Dunico O'Callaghan tells us it's going to be a sideline cut to Patrickswell. And of course, DromBroadford, a team that synonymous in recent years with football. But I know that when I was a youngster growing up, that it was very much a hurling tradition in that club, as we're missing nothing at the moment, as Mike Boyce takes the good sideline cut and he lets it down this far side of the field, and it's Dennis Dunnigan race here with Adam Carrick, and it's just a push into the back of Adam Carrick, and it's going to be a free to Patrickswell. Of course, DromBroadford winners of this competition in 2015, beating the Piershig 116-4-6. Winning back in 1993, of course, a county championship, beating Ballybrick in 9-7. A game that was played in Bruff on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I was there at that one as well, Jerome. Young man I was at that time, I could tell you. As we watch Keenan Wright launching this one well, but launching it away to the right-hand side and wide. It's another wide for Patrickswell. They're third of the afternoon and first from a free. As the puck out comes from Mike Boyce, long to Damien Burke, and it's done well now. Has Dara Hearn off to Peter Harty, trying to probe it inside, but Kevin Noonan should be equal to it. It slips off the hand, but he's got no pressure, so Noonan's doing well. As he gives it out high back towards where it came from to Peter Harty. Good hand pass from Harty off to Dara Hearn. Doesn't favour the left too many times. It's dropping, but it's dropping away to the right hand side and wide. And game has just lulled a little bit, Jerome, since the water break.
Yeah, might have just been what the game didn't need as it transpired. I don't think any side has really just got a bit of a rhythm sense, and I suppose when you haven't played for so long, having a bit of stoppage like that, and it can affect proceedings. And we've had 3 successive wides from Patrickswell, is the sum total of what we've had since the game resumed. And I just noticed now as well that the clock here in the stadium didn't resume after the water break either, so maybe there has been a bit of a malaise all round.
And Brian, that was Brian Fitzgerald you were looking at taking that long range shot a couple of minutes ago. We're back with play, and it's Kelvin Lynch who drives this one forward, and it's a Patrickswell full forward line, very far away from the goal as Kevin Noonan hand passes it back to Mike Boyce. Paul O'Brien comes in, but illegally so, and we could have our first card of the afternoon as Johnny Murphy goes to the back pocket looking to produce the book. DromBroadford Minters here trying hard, to get their team going. I know Owen Barry, the secretary, down there as well. And Paul O'Brien going to be the first one going into Johnny Murphy's book, I would imagine. It's going to be our first yellow card of this afternoon. Not a dirty game by any manner of means, just a little bit late from the big number 14 there. We say hello to you wherever you're watching us this evening. You could be in a pub, you could be in a beer garden, you could be on a far-off shore where the sun is shining, watching this one and enjoying the coverage and enjoying the game. It's Patrickswell in the ascendancy at the moment. They are leading here. 1-3 to 6 points, and it's those who are attacking as Kevin Noonan coughs up possession to Paul O'Brien, and it's being touched away here and touched away well by Jack Ryan. Out as far as Brian Ahern forward to Derry McCarthy, but Jamie Dillon's going to get a touch on it. No, he's not. Jack Pearce coming with him. Off now as far as Jimmy Kiley cuts back inside, trying to put the ball in, but it's Kelvin Lynch, steady as you go, hitting the ball long, but Garrett Noonan should be equal to it. Yes, he is. As it's taken by Parman, a man that used to be playing the full back line when he wore a senior jersey for Patrickswell, finding himself in the forwards this afternoon, not doing so bad because he wins a free there, and Johnny Murphy is going to give a chance for Brian Fitzgerald, I would think it is, or no, indeed it's Peter Harty who's going to take this one. And, well, it looks like our scoreboard has left us as well, Jerome. But don't worry, we have the score. It's 1-6 to 3. 22 minutes played of this, nearly 23 minutes played of this opening half. You'd fancy Peter Harty from here?
Yeah, he's had a couple of shots and they've dropped short so far, but this is his first one from a free.
And it is good. The umpire down there, no real qualms over it as he stretches Patrickswell ahead. They're 7 ahead now, and fine score from him, setting his nerves a little bit as well. Ball is short to Kevin Noonan, trying to play this into the middle, and that's a good run by Derry McCarthy. He's still 65 from the goal. Good attention from Patrickswell as he tries to get it into Keith Lacey, but Kelvin Lynch is there and equal to the task, and it looks like Kelvin is the spare man back there at the moment. Is Barry Foley trying to occupy the ball and keep it in space here. It's Jack Ryan with him though, and it's Dara Hearn off to Barry Foley again. Strike from Foley. It's going to creep outside. It's not even going to do that because Mike Boyce is taking it short in the small parallelogram as he plays it across to Jimmy Kiley. DromBroadford looking to turn defence into attack, but a brilliant hand by Keenan Wright. Off to Jamie Dillon. He's had 2 already. He's had 3 already. Is this point number 4? It's point number 4 from Jamie Dillon, and that is a fabulous score. Textbook from the middle of the field. What a striker, Jerome.
Yeah, it's 4 great strikes from him, and again, all that came from a ball into the full forward line, which wasn't one inside, brought out by Kelvin Lynch, and a couple of moments later they worked the score. The ball just isn't sticking for the DromBroadford forwards at all. That said, the Patrickswell defenders have been really, really tigerish.
And dare I say it's the puck out maybe causing DromBroadford a little bit of bother at the moment as Patrickswell go back in the attack again. It's Barry Foley fancying a shot at this. Foley hits it high. The nod from the umpire says it's over. Barry Foley with his second of the afternoon. He's causing wreck in there. And it's Patrickswell who are pulling away here in this county junior hurling semi-final with about 5 minutes plus to half time. And it's Drumcolour Broadford in search of score. Haven't scored from play yet. Good hand from Dennis Dunnigan. Dunnigan moving across into the middle, but great attention there from Paul Bennis. And it's back as far as Sean O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan trying to move forward, and Bennis doing well, tigerishly so. In as far as Keith Lacey, it looks like. Jack Pearce inside at the top of the D if he needs them, but a lot of Patrickswell bodies, and it's Keenan Wright who comes out. Off to Peter Harty. Pixie's man has time, but it's Kevin Noonan who's going to get there. Noonan touching it away from Paul O'Brien as he races towards the 65. Off now as far as the Drumcolour Broadford midfielder, but the ball has been spilled as Brian Fitzgerald pumps this one across. He's got space inside him if he can break through. He can't. It's Jack Ryan though, tidying up the ball and minding the house to Sean O'Sullivan. Short now as far as Dennis Dunnigan. Off now as far as Jimmy Kiley. He's got him in at the far side of the field, but decides to go back as the ball is played long down now and trying to get Keith Lacey into possession. Lacey has it now, turning inside on the 45. Will it get there? It's going to drop. Jack Pearce is there with Kelvin Lynch, but the last touch was from the Dromcollogher-Broadford man, and the ball goes out for a wide ball, wide number 4 for Dromcollogher-Broadford. And one feels, Jerome, the half-time whistle can't come soon enough for them in from West Limerick. They need just to reorganise themselves again. It's 1-9-3. They're very much under the pump at the moment.
Yeah, just can't get a stranglehold on it anyway. You have to say Patrickswell really dominating the middle third, half-back line, midfield, half-forwards. Every one of those 8 players are winning their duels at the moment.
Jimmy Kiley giving it off here to Brian Ahern. And this is where Dromcollogher-Broadford need to try and move the ball along, and that's what they're doing with Garrett Noonan, and that's a great ball in to Keith Lacey, but it's 2-on-1. He's done enough here now. This could be a good chance. It's broken off, and in fact it was James Molyneux. Keith Lacey and James Molyneux both wearing the yellow helmets, and there was a hint of danger there, but instead it ends up as the 5th wide for Dromcollogher-Broadford.
Well, at least they're getting, that's 2 balls that have gone into to James Monaghan in the last couple of moments, and that's what they need to do. But Patrickswell, DromBroadford have retreated a couple of bodies into the middle third to try and gain possession. But what has happened is Patrickswell are left with a spare man inside, and more often than not, he's picking up the possession.
Well, Damien Burke winning this from forward. As far as Brian Ahern, shot isn't as good, and that tails off to the right hand side and wide number 6 now. And they're just, imagine if you got 3 of those, Jerome, or even 2, it would have put a bit more respectability on the score.
Yeah, as Brian Ahern just clipped at that a little bit, and if you flip it over and look at Patrickswell, Jamie Dillon is sticking 4 from distance, and 4 points. I won't say 4 points is the difference between the teams, but it's the most of the difference between the teams. And Brian probably had a second there to steady himself a little bit, but just clipped at it and tailed harmlessly enough wide.
So just trying to look around and see where it's definitely Derry McCarthy has sat back into the Dromcollogher-Broadford half-back line, and the ball is coming down the throat of Brian Fitzgerald and Sean O'Sullivan, but a great hand from the centre-back as he moves forward, finds Damien Burke. We're still in the Dromcollogher-Broadford defence, but now it's gone long as far as James Molyneux, but James Carrick is there as well, and the battle of the 2 Jameses was won by Carrick, the man wearing number 3 in the blue and gold, and it's going to be Gary Murphy coming to take this free out just inside the 13-metre line. And Gary Murphy, of course, a man who was an internet sensation a number of years ago from a league match, I think it was, out in Claughaun. Ballybrown and Patrickswell made a spectacular save that almost broke the internet, but it just didn't. Brian Ahern coming forward with this, and the speedster of a young man looking to get his team on the front foot. Great ball inside, off as far as Brian Noonan. Another shot from Dromcollogher-Broadford, but it goes to the right hand side and it goes wide. But dare I say, it's better from Dromcollogher-Broadford, although in product not as good as it could be.
No, still 9 points between the teams, but that's they're getting on the ball at least, and maybe the impact of having the extra bodies out in the middle has helped them a little bit. That said, Derry McCarthy is the man that they need to have on the ball, and maybe the free roll just hasn't suited him because he hasn't got ball in hand for the last few moments.
Barry Foley seems to have taken a knock in that last challenge, but play continues as it's Derry McCarthy approaching midfield. We think there's a slight breeze maybe facing him as he strikes it long, and again it goes to the right hand side of Gary Murphy's goal, wide number 8 now. And
that's better though, at least they worked the ball free and found Derry, who's their shooter, just off target, but he was better, and that's what they need to do. If he's the loose man in the middle, they need to be working the ball to him, and just a bit of a stoppage now. As you said, Barry Foley took a little bit of a knock in that last passage of play, and dare I say, 8 months out of the game of hurling, and a bit of a knock is going to affect you that little bit more. But so far, credit to Patrickswell. The long break, they've probably tailed off a little bit in the last few minutes, which you'd expect from teams after a big long break, but they have looked really, really sharp and hungry for possession in the opening almost 30 minutes played.
Gary Murphy decides to go sharp. Barry Foley is good and will resume. It's Kelvin Lynch hitting it long, but looks like Dennis Dunnigan over there. Dunnigan ball falls from his hand, but he's moving forward, which is good. Looking inside, see what's on. Sensible ball from the Dromcollogher Broadford man. Space for Jack Pearce, but it's Kelvin, the man who pucked it a minute ago, brings it out over the sideline, and Kelvin Lynch has conceded a 65, and it's going to be a chance for Dromcollogher Broadford. And more than likely, Derry McCarthy to come over and register their 4th point of the afternoon. Angle is a little bit more difficult. Johnny Murphy telling Jonathan Hayes where to stand. So Derry McCarthy can place the ball. And as we were saying a while ago, Dromcollogher Broadford, a club with a famed tradition, of course, in football over the last number of years, winning county titles in many years in the noughties, won right through to 2013, their last. But of course, way back when, they were the powerhouse in hurling of West Limerick, and contested finals of Junior A Hurling Championship in 1990, 1989 and 1988. 3 in a row, losing to Napier-Shig, Feeney Kilmeady and Palace Green before winning that county championship in 93. That, of course, against Ballybrick and Bohermore, as we mentioned earlier on, as Derry McCarthy, absolutely beautiful, fabulous striker of the ball, a very technical, very good technical player, and that's a beautiful score from him. It gets Dromcollogher's 4th point of this afternoon. It's 1-9 here now, and Jerome, 32 minutes, nearly on half time. Great score from them. They'll hope to get one more, but we haven't time to talk about it because Peter Harty is racing through here. It's off as far as Paul O'Brien, and that's into the back of the net. And super score. The ball fell through to Harty. He took on the Dromcollogher Broadford defence, and Paul O'Brien got the slightest touches to take it past Mike Boyce. And just as we thought there was some bit of a chink of light for Dromcollogher Broadford, it's 2-9 to 4 points now, Jerome, and that's made it a mountain.
Yeah, that's a huge blow to Broadford. They just got a little bit of a foothold in the game. Their first score in 17 minutes. They'd worked hard for it. Probably four successive wides before that since the water break. That's a real tough blow for them now to knock them back, because Patrickswell hadn't really scored for 8 minutes at that point, and a real unfortunate one straight from a puck out.
Keane Enright moving forward from his centre half back berth as he takes the ball out over the sideline. And an interesting one, of course, Enright lines out at number 6, and his dad, Barry Foley, lines out at top of the left this afternoon for Patrickswell. So that's an interesting caveat to this game here. Father and son in the colours of Patrickswell, as Brian Ahern plays this ball forward, but the loose man, which is Adam Carrick, comes forward there, and it's Carrick who has the final play of this first half here in the Gaelic grounds, a half in which his team has dominated completely, leading 1 goal and 6 to 3 points at the water break. A great goal in the opening in that opening period coming from Paul O'Brien. He got his second just moments ago. It's 2-9 to 4 points. It's very much looking like it'll be Patrickswell who will be in that county final next weekend, Jerome. Bar, I say, DromBroadford need a huge performance in the second half.
Yeah, they need a huge performance. It's two goals and 8 points from play for Patrickswell, and DromBroadford still to score from play after that opening half. 8 wides for DromBroadford, 5 for Patrickswell. It does look like a game that's a step too far for DromBroadford. Perhaps they can try and get a foothold early in the second half, but Patrickswell just appear to have all of the aces so far, and right now you're thinking it's Patrickswell and Crow Kilfinney in that county junior A final next weekend, and the winner to step up to the intermediate grade and replace St. Patrick's, who were relegated way back over almost 9 months ago now.
Well, it's been an interesting first half. It's this men from Limerick City division who are very much on top here in the Gaelic grounds. Who knows what could happen in the second half? DromBroadford, I'm sure, a proud club with a great tradition, will not leave this one behind them so easily. At half-time, it's Dromcollogher Broadford trailing Patrickswell 2 goals and 9 to 4 points. just about ready to start the second half of this County Junior A hurling semi-final. The scene so far is, of course, that Croke-Kilfinny, just out the road, will be awaiting the winners of this semi-final. And I'm sure we've got a lot of interested viewers from that part of the world watching us, having a very, very good victory this afternoon over Clahan in the first game. And that was here a little bit earlier on.
Croke-Kilfinny will remember as well that they met Patrickswell in round one of this championship back in July 25th. And they were victorious 3-15 to 2-12. The only team to beat Patrickswell in the group stages. The Well also drew with Kilteely Drumkeen, but could very well be set for a rematch of that opening round tie in next weekend's final.
Big 30 minutes ahead for the men wearing black, amber and red here, and that is of course DromBroadford. They need to put it up to Patrickswell, but it's the Well who are on the counter-attack. Kevin Noonan breaking the ball away from Paul O'Brien, does well, and the out is coming the tigerish Michael Ryan now. Coming out is Johnny Murphy going to give him a free. Yes, he is, and is adjudged to have been pulled back there, and for descent, Johnny Murphy is giving 10 extra yards to DromBroadford, as it's Garrett Noonan looking to get proceedings up and away nice and quick. As we look inside, no major changes have been made by either side as Keith Lacey gets onto the ball, favouring his left, but gives it back to Dennis Dunnigan. Dunnigan off his right. This needs to be good. The near umpire is moving, so it's gone to the right-hand side and wide. Wide number 9 now for DromBroadford, and it's really been the story of the end of the first half for them. They had 4 or 5 there, pretty much in a row. They would have brought them closer in this game if you've just joined us. And it's Jimmy Kiley batting this one forward away from Peter Harty, and good win on the break there by Damien Burke. Likes to move forward with the ball is Burke. Nice hurler, let me tell you. But Brian Fitzgerald has muscled him out of this one, as Fitzgerald has got Harty off his shoulder. Played inside, back to Fitzgerald again. It's thrown, says the referee. Is it not? I'm not quite sure what Johnny Murphy is saying there, but it's DromBroadford man he's talking to. But it's going to be a free out. Was it for a throw, Jerome?
Must have been from a throw. We couldn't see it here with the bodies in our way, but actually if Peter had gone to his left, I think it might have been Dara Hearn that was clean through in the middle as well if the ball had moved in that direction. But
Derry McCarthy striking this long and high in as far as James Mullen. Oh, it's just going to go over his head. It's going to beat him. Yes, it is. And it's another wide for the Western men. As we wait Gary Murphy to puck this one out. The first junior hurling final in Limerick was played in 1902. Treaty Sarsfields beating St. Patrick's 2-11 to 1-5, and as Jerome mentioned earlier on, St. Patrick's occupying the junior ranks in 2021. The winners of this semi-final, of course, and Croke-Kilfinny next weekend will take their place in the Intermediate Championship for 2021. And it's back with Mullino, who we spoke about just a moment ago. With him is James Carrick. Carrick does well just to break it away from him. It comes off the leg of the Patrickswell men. Carrick arguing it. His brother Adam just ahead of him in the half-back line. And it's going to be Damien Burke looking to see where he can play it. Donico O'Callaghan tells him, bring that ball forward. As we wait the sideline cut, looking inside and seeing what's happened, it looks like Brian Noonan has moved into that full forward position just to see what he can do here. Back to Derry McCarthy, and McCarthy's possession, trying to make an angle. Loops around, strikes it, but it's going to go outside, and it's going to go to the left hand side and wide. Wide number 11 as Patrickswell looking to get their half-forward line back in place. I see Brian Ahern or Dara Ahern calling for the ball in the middle of the field. He's been picked now by Derry McCarthy. Gary Murphy doesn't see him. The ball goes long, down on top of Pa Mann. Jimmy Kiley does well, but Mann handles it. Off as far as Brian Fitzgerald, onto the edge of the D, and that's a super score made from the hand of Pa Mann. A super run by Brian Fitzgerald. It was popped off with his left, and a great score from the Patrickswell centre forward, the first of the second half, Jerome O'Connell.
Yeah, and it was a huge puck out from Gary Murphy as well. When we look at the length that Mike Boyce was getting his in the first half, and it seemed to pose an awful lot of problems for DromBroadford. They were on the back foot straight away with the puck out, just maybe dropping that little bit shorter than you would have expected. But that was a huge booming one from Gary Murphy. The forwards knew exactly where it was dropping, straight into the paw of Pa Mann, and it did great just to offload it straight away, and that's a really great score. So efficient for a team. Poke out, catch and offload. A great start to the second half for him, and at the opposite end, 3 wides already for DromBroadford, and then Patrickswell can just make this look so easy.
As we're watching Peter Harty here taking a free from the middle of the field. And it's going to be another shot at the goal for the Wellmen. As the ball goes long, it's going to have distance, but it's going to trail, and it is trailing. It's going to the right-hand side and wide. So 6 wide for Patrickswell. As we said about Parman in the first half, a player who would have played in the full-back line for many years with his club. But in his earlier part of his career, playing in the forwards and reliving that experience at the moment and doing really, really well as Brian Ahern is coming off underneath us. And on to this DromBroadford team is Seamus Brosnan, and he's going straight in there at midfield. So Brian will be disappointed as the puck out comes, and it's to the aforementioned man, into Barry Foley, but it's been played away well from him by Jack Ryan out over the sideline. Going to be a sideline cut to Patrickswell. And they've really picked up where they've left off. Those early moments of that second half where DromBroadford were attacking 3 wides, and they're just energy sapping wides, you'd have to say. And it was Patrickswell who came up the field, and that brilliant score from Brian Fitz as Barry Foley cuts this one in. He's taken good cuts in his lifetime. That wasn't a bad one either. It's Paul O'Brien round Kevin Noonan. This is a chance. It's well done by the DromBroadford captain, and it looked like he dispossessed him or got a vital hook on him at the last moment. And when O'Brien turned to collect it, he touched it on the ground, says Johnny Murphy, and that was danger, and that was a sigh of relief for DromBroadford as Kevin Noonan plays it short as far as Jack Ryan trying to come out, but Barry Foley blocks and does well. And again, it's Garrett Noonan now back on their own half-back line trying to relieve the pressure. But I see Jamie Dillon free ahead of him about 40 yards. He'll try to have to avoid him. Cut didn't even leave the ground, so it's anybody's ball at the moment, and it's looked like Michael Ryan, and it's with Jonathan McMahon off as far as Peter Harty, but Kevin Noonan equal to the task, coming out, spooning it off as far as Jimmy Kiley. Kiley playing this one down in front of Jack Pearce, ahead of Kelvin Lynch. Pearce does well, trying to get himself inside, but he's hugging the sideline. Thought he caught it 3 times. Yes, he did, says the referee, and it's going to be a free out. Kelvin Lynch looking not to waste any time, but word from Pa Dundon is to relax. Let Keenan Wright come across. And it is Keenan Wright coming across here to take this free out. And you can hear the sound in the Mackey stand of that strike off of Keenan Wright's hurley as Brian Fitzgerald trying to make his way forward. This would be point number 3 if it were to go over. And it is point number 3 from the centre forward from Patrickswell. His second of the second half. His team's second of the second half also. And a fine performance here, Jerome, from Brian Fitzgerald.
Yeah, really great finish from him. Again, really strong stick work.
And it's Dennis Dunnigan as he wins it from the puck out, similar to Parman just a couple of moments ago. And Dunnigan taking that off his right-hand side, off his hurley and over the bar. A fine score for the DromBroadford man.
That's their first point from play as well. 7.5 minutes into the second half, and 11 wides just before that. They're ringing the changes here as well. A couple of substitutions. I can see that Brian Noonan has made his way off, and also Jack Pearce has made his way off. Coming into the field is Brian Stack. He's certainly one of those that has come in, and also Graham Roach and Pearce have come into the half-back line maybe.
So changes happening. 20 minutes or less even to try and make an impression here. As Patrickswell very much in the ascendancy, as it has been right from that first whistle. It's 2-11 to 5 here, and it's going to be a chance for Keenan Wright, just inside the 65-yard line, facing the DromBroadford goal. Going to have a chance to put them 2-12 to 5 up if he can reach it. Interestingly, they've left Peter Harty away from this one. And Inright comes forward, little bit of a breeze maybe coming across him as Inright strikes it, but it goes to the left-hand side and wide. Good strike, but not so good in terms of a result. 7th wide for Patrickswell as Mike Bice gets it underway quickly, and it's out to Brian Fitzgerald, who just loses possession at the last minute, and it looks like the freshman in there, Seamus Brosnan, trying to get something on it, but it's Paul Bennis who clears it down to Jonathan McMahon. And Jimmy Kiley does well as McMahon gets inside. And it's really good work from the youngster from Patrickswell as Brian Fitzgerald's come across. Got a point here from a minute ago. Tries to give it inside, but well anticipated back in that full back line as Garrett Noonan takes that ball away and finds Derry McCarthy. It was Jack Ryan who did so well to come across and cut that out, because it would have been a goal if it had got through. Derry McCarthy firing forward. This is what we like to see from him, and that's a super score as the Dromcolour Broadford fans underneath us begin to find voice. That's what we expected of him all afternoon, and he's come to life, Jerome.
Yeah, and that's what they need, and they seem to have pushed him maybe into the half forward line at this stage with their couple of substitutions, and the more they can get him on the ball, the better for him.
And that's a good strike there from Paman, but it's not so good. Wide number 8 now for Patrickswell. As the puck out, we can barely keep up with it here. Derek O'Callaghan says the ball has gone out over the sideline from Damien Burke. Touched it last. And Derry McCarthy blazing at the goal there, and Dromcolour Broadford waiting for scores to come. They get 2 in as many minutes from play, as that was well cut forward there, and well cut forward by Paul Binnis, but Jimmy Kiley equal to it back there, and a great hook by Paul O'Brien coming from behind, and it's Dara Hearn looking to touch and turn inside off to Paul O'Brien. It's a couple of Drumbroadford men for company, and O'Brien loses possession, and it's on the ground. Will it be a throw in? Play on, says the referee, and Michael Ryan doing well there. Michael Ryan doing really well, as we see maybe the first cramp of the afternoon happening. And, the Dromcolour Broadford cornerback, of course, proudly wearing the Meanies-sponsored Centra jerseys here for the men from West Limerick. And Paul O'Brien just receiving a little bit of attention, as is Michael Ryan, but I don't think it's anything too much to worry about.
Drombroford must be happy with the opening 11 minutes. They would have asked big questions of the guys at half time. They would have known themselves they were playing second fiddle for long periods of that opening half. But to be fair to them, they were down big at half time, but they haven't thrown in the towel at all. They're still battling away and plugging away here. They've got their first 2 scores from playing the last few minutes, and I think management will be happy that they've given them a response that they would have wanted. They're not eating into the Patrickswell lead, but at least they're standing up to the challenge.
Well, getting a little bit more in terms of intensity in the second half from Dromcolour Broadford as Seamus Brosnan looks to clear this one away. But super hands from Paul Binnis. This would be an excellent score, but it's not going to get there as Mike Boyce comes. It goes inside off his hand, and Barry Foley was lurking in there. The Dromcolour Broadford netminder had to be vigilant. Just spilled from the hand at the last second, and we're going to have a 65. Peter Harty looking to be the one trusted with this. Remember, Keenan Wright missed that one a couple of moments ago. Harty, of course, a man with senior experience with the Well for many years as well. And quite a handful he was back in at corner forward for many as a team. And he still has that vein of form as Harty looks to push his team further ahead. Bends, lifting and striking. Distance, no problem. Accuracy, no, it won't have the accuracy. He's just stepping out the umpire, and he's saying that's the 9th wide of the afternoon for Patrickswell, as the puck out has come almost as quick as the ball hits the back of the net. And here's Paul Binnis, man who's done well, to the 65 taker. Peter Harty off to Brian Fitzgerald, 3 points to his name. Turning, looking for crossfield ball to Barry Foley. Foley, hand is up, turns at the one time, looking to move forward. He's got good company in Jack Ryan. He spoons it off in as far as the goalkeeper, but too close for Johnny McMahon to make an impression. And it's Boyce coming out forward to Sean O'Sullivan, looking to get it long. It goes over the head of Keenan Wright as it's scooped away by Kelvin Lynch, and this is Brian Nolan emerging now to Peter Harty in midfield. Space opening up. Jamie Dillon, a number of first half points for him. Back to Paul Binnis, cutting inside. Exhibition stuff now from Binnis as he hurls with his head up into Barry Foley. Still in possession, treading it along the ground. Something like you'd see an under 6 doing if he was trying to manage to control the ball along the ground as a dribble. But it's with Kevin Noonan. Noonan does well. He's got plenty company in there, and it looks like Paman has joined the attack now at this stage. Will join Johnny Murphy throw it in? No, he won't. And it's Garrett Noonan tidying it up. Down as far as Keith Lacey. Cross the field to Derry McCarthy. Space is opening up in front of him. And McCarthy encouraged to take it on. Off now as far as Dennis Dunnigan. This is promising as they're heading towards the D. Off now as far as the sub-in, and that's Brian Stack. And it looks like there was a clip from behind. Johnny Murphy is saying it's a foul on Dennis Dunnigan on the edge of the D. And Broadford going to try and get themselves a little bit closer here. But again, Jerome, there we say it. There we're not patronising, but better from Broadford in the second half.
Yeah, it is, and I do think Derry McCarthy is causing a bit more trouble at centre forward as well. He's closer to goal when he gets ball in hand, and he runs straight at him. He's got huge pace. He runs direct, slots over the free there now, and he just causes more problems. It's damage limitation at this stage, no doubt about it, unless they're to get a bucket full of goals, which they just don't look like. But to be fair, going forward, I think for Derry, centre forward is certainly a position where he's causing big trouble there.
Puck out comes into the middle and it's broken down. Jimmy Kiley, who's been a fair rock in that Broadford defence, let me tell you, he stood to every test this afternoon right from that first play. He's got Peter Harty now with him. It's back to Brian Dara Hearn, planted the foot, it's good, but it's going to the left hand side and wide, and that's wide number 10. For Patrickswell, something they'll be concerned with because they've hit 5 in that second half and we're only playing just to the water break here. Going forward, it's something that they will have to be more clinical at as they're looking to bring Shane Hannon plus another substitute in there. Is that, looks like Nathan Conway, is it? That could be coming in the next couple of moments as well.
Yeah, and I suppose we really have to be lenient with teams after 8 months out of action, no challenge games and very little training. So to be fair to them, to hit 10 wides, it's they'll probably flip that over and say, look, we're creating these chances. They've got 2 to 11 on the scoreboard. 2-10 of that I think would be from play, and they've hit 10 wide, so they're creating big numbers of chances. Looking ahead to a final, yes, they will probably have to reduce that a little bit, but they are creating and they've showed some lovely stick work. Even when they're not on top or as dominant in this third quarter, they've still showed some lovely stick work, great use of the ball, some nice diagonal play as well, switching it from half back line when they get the chance. And they're only a little pass away again from really opening up DromBroadford. Barry Foley, I think it was Jack Ryan, just got a touch there when Barry Foley had the hand up and he was thinking already of putting the ball in the net. Paul O'Brien had another chance when he got in around Kevin Noonan. I think he was already thinking of his hat-trick as he threw it up, and DromBroadford just got back to deny him. But, ultimately, when we look at the stats down in front of us, DromBroadford won that quarter by 3 points to 2, and that's what management would have wanted from him. And I see appear to have another change now as well. It looks like Keith Lacey has departed for DromBroadford, and there's a full forward. We'll
have a look.
Change inside.
It could be Michael O'Sullivan there, number 24.
It could be.
Could be like his.
It looks like his stature inside at the edge of the square, and I think that's what they need now is to put the high balls in there, because they are going to need goals if there's to be something dramatic here.
And it looks like Shane Hannon has come on as well on the Patrickswell side, and it's Paul O'Brien who has departed, and I'm sure we'll see plenty of changes in the next 13 or 14 minutes thereabouts. It's Patrickswell very much in control, 2-11 to 7. Led at half time by 2-9 to 4. They've only got 2 in the second half, but they've still been very comfortable. And it's Broadford who have done better. As Jerome said, they've won the last quarter. And they'll look to score early here. And if they could sneak a goal, they could just make a run of it down the line. But they'll need scores to come, and to come fast. And it's this man they need to get on the ball. It's Derry McCarthy, just inside the 65, as you can see. And he will be facing it into the clearing goal as the puck comes. That looks very good from here. And Derry McCarthy on the 48th minute, just like he did on the 44th, gets Drumculler's next score. It's their 8th score, and it's his 3rd in a row. He's got the last 3. So they'll look to get the next one as well as Gary Murphy pucks this one forward. It's well caught there by Dara Hearn. Moving forward now, trying to create a gap inside to Shane Hannon. Hannon trying to cut inside Kevin Noonan. This guy's a tricky customer. Hannon strikes it well, but a great save by Mike Bison, the goal. And it's gone out for a 65. And the Patrickswell corner forward, it is first play. Look to cause a good bit of danger there, Jerome.
Yeah, lovely turn, real swift feed from Shane to bring him inside the defender. Knew that there was bodies close to him, did the right thing, flicked the ball up and flicked it. And in fairness to Mike Boyce, he was strong at his near post. He needed to be, probably wasn't a whole lot of room for Shane Hannon to squeeze it in there, but Mike Boyce did the right thing and diverted it out to the 65. And this time it's Peter Harty once again that has taken over the place ball duties.
Has had one from a free today, but has missed a couple as well, including a 65 just a couple of moments ago. Can he do better here? Strikes it well, distance is there, but it's going to the same place as it did in the last one. It's going out to the right-hand side of Mike Bice's goal, and I can tell you both sides tied on the wides count at the moment. Both have 11 each by my calculations. Great work out from Mike Boyce. Down as far as Garrett Noonan. Off into the Dromcollogher-Broadford full forward line. But trying to get over there was Brian Stack. And the ball has gone out over the sideline. He's done well as Stack. As Derry McCarthy looks to cut this one. And a player with immense talent. I wouldn't be surprised if he got near the goal here or even over the bar. So Derry McCarthy stands over it. I think he's placing it to go for a score. It's gone in. It has the distance. And indeed, I was right. McCarthy gets an absolutely spectacular point here on 50 minutes for Dromcollogher-Broadford. That's his 1, 2, 3. He's fourth in a row. They're fifth in a row since the 37-minute row.
Yeah, and dare I say it, a goal right now gives us a real grandstand finish, because even you could see the confidence of DromBroadford with the number of wides that Patrickswell have had in the last few minutes. They're growing in stature out here, and there's no sign of them getting tired just yet. And
they take a shot, but it goes unfortunately to the right-hand side and wide, and hands up there from the Dromcollogher-Broadford attacker, acknowledging that it should have been kept alive. Maybe a big ball in on top of Michael O'Sullivan in there could cause wreck. And that's what they need. They need a little bit of danger in around the goal. They need to threaten the Patrickswell goal, and they need to do it quickly. But it's Peter Harty looking to try and win this one and carry it forward. It's coming out now with Sean O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan hitting it forward to Dennis Dunnigan. Dunnigan, long, this is the ball we're talking about, but well read by James Carrick. Carrick spoons it off, brick wall style, as far as Keane Enright. Enright, cross to Shane Hannon, touchdown from him, but well got back there by Jack Ryan, but robbed by Hannon. Chance to plant the foot. Hannon strikes it in, and the roar underneath you will tell you that is a super score from young Shane Hannon, and he stops the rot. It's the first score for Patrickswell since the 37-minute when Brian Fitz got his second of the second half. It's quite a gap to go without a score, Jerome, and it's one that they badly needed.
Yeah, it was, and he's made a real impact so far. Real pacey guy inside and full forward line, and just what a defender doesn't want to see, a real pacey guy with fast feet coming in for the last 10 minutes. But he's been on 2 balls so far, went close to a goal, and now a great score under the Mackey stand. And you mentioned the roar of the crowd, and isn't it great to hear the roar of the crowd back emanating up from the Mackey stand beneath us. 100 tickets for each club for this evening's semi-final, and you could see the joy on people's faces coming in the gate to be able to see live action once again.
And well, let's hope things get better over the weeks and months ahead, and that by the time we come to the autumn, that we'll all be back to normal and watching our games at Club Championship 2021 and indeed County Championship 2021 come to an end with full houses. And let's just say everybody's doing their best to make that happen as Brian Fitzgerald jumps up, and it looks like he's taken a knock as he's come down. Again, I think, Jerome, it could be just a little bit of cramp from Patrickswell man. He's covered a lot of ground.
Yeah, he is, and the physio Lynn McCahey's going to be busy for the next week to have everyone back up in running order. And if you look across the field, I think it's Paul Bennis that's down as well at the moment, just stretching out the muscles while he has a couple of minutes. And the recovery probably between now and next week is going to be vital for both Patrickswell if they get through and Crow Kilfinney, because 2 games in quick succession after such a long layoff, it's trying for the players, and no doubt they're absolutely delighted to be back in the field and getting the chance to see out last year's championship. But it is a big ask of them, and you can see all across the field there's numerous players down just stretching out the muscles, while there's a little bit of a break here with still Brian Fitzgerald down getting that little bit of treatment, and I think he probably just strained a bit of a muscle as he landed back down after a great fetch.
And it's Keenan Wright stepping forward. Peter Harty no look in the last 2, and it was Keane who took the one before that as well, and he didn't have any look. He's got distance as well, but it's that umpire at the right hand side signalling again. Keenan Wright shakes the head. Wide number 12, I make it for Patrickswell, and ball is out quickly, and it's Derry McCarthy trying to turn his inside line onto the ball, and it's out with Paul Bennis, and Bennis has been one of those real strong performers for the Well this afternoon, getting it down to Barry Foley, gets inside Kevin Noonan. Here's the man that scored the last score, Shane Hannon. Hannon goes up well, looks across, tries it through, great ball for Barry Foley, but it just passes him as back goes Garrett Noonan. You'd favour Noonan. He kicks it forward, but only as far as the in-line. It's kept in play. Jimmy Kiley looking to bring it out. He's got men inside. It's Sean O'Sullivan bringing it forward. O'Sullivan trying to get his full forward line into it, and it's Damien Burke standing underneath it with Brian Nolan. It goes inside them, and it's with the number 21, Brian Stack. But again, good defence there from Patrickswell. Stack wins it up. Back to Burke. Derry McCarthy has it now on the back foot. It's going to fall short, if it's going to get short even. And it's Brian Nolan, or it's James Carrick bringing it away, and now it's Kelvin Lynch across his own goal, well hooked there by Brian Stack, and it's still not away. Kelvin Lynch battling hard, getting it into his hand at second time of asking, goes to ground, men behind him. It's back now to is that Jamie Dillon? It is Dillon looking to get it up, second time of asking. Peter Harty ahead. Good position from the Patrickswell man. He finds himself in space. Just 3 forwards inside the 65. One of those is Shane Hannon. He's got loads of energy. Off to Barry Foley. A chance to seal it up. Off to Brian Fitzgerald. They're still here. A shot from Fitzgerald just over the crossbar. And that could have been game, set and match as Patrickswell looked to press forward. A brilliant strike from Fitzgerald, but he'll have hoped and he'll have been wishing, Jerome, that rattled the back of the net.
Yeah, well, the impact that Shane Hannon has had, absolutely, a sparkling inside there, and he's really putting his hand up and saying, look, what about me for a place for a county final if it comes round? And just as the other corner forward, Barry Foley, makes his way off after 56 minutes of this tie, I think it might have been Nathan Conway that just slipped in there somewhere, but the impact that Shane Hannon has had, Patrickswell were just shy of 17 minutes without a score. He came in, went close to the goal, and he sparkled, and he's been involved in both their last couple of scores to end 5 successive points for DromBroadford.
And puck out comes, but it's Seamus Brosnan who's won it back there, back to Garrett Noonan. Long probing ball. It's 2 against 3 down here, and the 3 are with Patrickswell, and one of those odd is Brian Nolan. Well, he's not odd, he's just not being marked at the moment because he's the free man, and it's Michael Ryan well away from corner back for DromBroadford, and it's Jonathan McMahon who has the ball, but it's gone away from him again. We're facing the final 5 minutes or so of this game in the Gaelic grounds. It looks like it has done from a long time out, that it's Patrickswell who are going to be heading back to a county junior A hurling final. Their first time since 1999 to contest the decider. Will it be DromBroadford with a late flurry? It doesn't look like it at the minute, as time is very much against him. It's Shane Hannon dispossessing Jimmy Kiley. As Jerome said, he's had a sterling performance as he's come on. Here's another man that's been looked real classy. It's Brian Fitzgerald. Man over here if he can get it across. But Kevin Noonan stands resilient and solid. Super defence from the DromBroadford captain. He gives it out. He takes the return. Noonan hits it high and long from the 45 down to Brian Stack and James Carrick. Stack gets it inside, but it goes just too far away from him, and it goes out for a wide ball. And I think Brian Fitzgerald may have played his final moments of this game, as Patrickswell looking to bring another substitute on here. Gavin Carey, it looks like.
Yeah, Brian Fitzgerald just pulled up again there after that last play, and clearly carrying an injury from a couple of minutes ago. So he's going to see out the last couple of minutes from the benches here in the Mackey stand, but he's left with 4 points from play, I think, and contributed really, really strongly to a number of other scores as well.
And, very nearly got another goal for Patrickswell there. And it was great defence from Broadford. Last-ditch defence, but still, it all counts as Damien Burke tries to get forward, and Jamie Dillon is fouled. And just a little bit of getting to know each other between Paul Binnis and Damien Burke. A bit of frustration on the Broadford man's behalf, as Brian Fitzgerald makes his way off, as Jerome said. Gavin Carey on the field of play, and of course notable today is the absence of Paul Carey, of course, who was involved with this team, this junior team in the 2020 campaign. And as a mark of respect, Patrickswell have retired jersey number 24 for the duration of this campaign. So number 24 not in use, as a mark of respect to the late Paul Carey, of course, uncle of Gavin Carey, who's just come on the field of play. We've missed nothing. A wide ball from Keenan Wright as the Broadford and Niall O'Brien look to make an angle and make a shot, and a really good score from the man who's just come on. So Niall O'Brien bringing Broadford's tally to 9 points for the afternoon.
Yeah, it's a great score from Niall, just really opened up the shoulders and went for it, and a great score for a side that have really cried out for scores from play throughout this game, but they finished out with a nice one there from the substitute.
And a good ball forward from Adam Carrick as Gavin Carey looks to get on the possession, and it's Gavin now who's won it back. It's been sloppy in there. Carey's got a chance, he hits it in, and the white flag is going for it, and it's Gavin Carey who did well. It's just all a little bit tired now from DromBroadford, and who would blame them? That goal has been peppered, and Gavin Carey wins that and puts it over the bar. A bit of argy-bargy underneath us here between two Drum players over a ball going, both contesting a ball.
It's been a frustrating kind of afternoon for them. In fairness, they settled themselves into the game, but they just found themselves 1-6 to 2 points down after 14 minutes. And, it was an uphill battle from that stage. The half-time, they seemed to settle, and in fairness to them, they found their feet in this contest, but it was just too much of an uphill battle. That opening quarter is what they're going to look back at and wonder, why were we slow to start? And to be fair, big 8-month break from hurling is reason enough for a slow start, but Patrickswell really shot out of the traps, and it was that opening quarter that's now going to be the telling difference between the two sides.
As we are missing nothing again, Gavin Carey cuts it, Paul Binnis cuts it, I should say, and it's gone out over the sideline again. So Broadford sideline, and it's 2-14 to 10. We've just been corrected, as looks like Patrickswell going to make another substitution within a matter of moments. Aideen Foley, the secretary of Patrickswell, writing a slip, getting the call from Pat Dundon, as we watch Garrett Noonan cutting this one forward. Dennis Dunnigan there with him. It's off now by Damien Burke, but well anticipated by Peter Harty, and he cuts it out well to the man who got a point just a couple of moments ago, Gavin Carey, facing Kevin Noonan, and he faces him and gets past him well. Jimmy Kiley coming to tackle. Gavin strikes. It's going to drop short, and it's blocked in there by Shane Hannon. Has it gone over the line? There's a great chance for a goal. It's a goal, and Shane Hannon has got it. And Mike Boyce, well, he took the scutter shot from Gavin Carey. He went to clear it off his line. Shane Hannon came in, he blocked it down, and the umpire says that has gone over the line, and no more than Hannon has deserved. He's been in a rich vein of form since he's come on, Jerome. 3-14 to 10 now, and it's a bit of a clipping for Broadford.
Yeah, you're giving it to Shane Hannon. I thought that Jamie Dillon was in there as well, and I'm not quite sure exactly who got the final touch without looking at a replay, but great energy from Jamie Dillon as well to be inside on the goal line in the last couple of seconds of this game after putting in a big shift. But again, that man Shane Hannon, and he's a name that Crow Kilfinney will be looking at in terms of the final and wondering, is he going to start, or are they again going to hold him in reserve? Because coming into a game like this in the final quarter, he's so pacey, and he's got a great touch as well, and he's had a big influence on this at a time when DromBroadford were just starting to find their feet.
And it's Keith Dundon who has come on the field of play for Patrickswell, and off goes Kelvin Lynch as Broadford win a free, and they were attacking well, and it's Derry McCarthy standing over this, and he's got no choice here. We're in injury time to put a little bit of respectability back on the scoreline. So it's outside the 21, so there can be as many as they want, and there's only 6 on the goal. Gary Murphy is the one who has stood forward. He's the goalkeeper wearing the windbreaker as Murphy sees that one rise high from Derry McCarthy, and it goes over the crossbar. And another score for McCarthy, who has been their scorer-in-chief this afternoon in a day that they'll want to forget here. 3-14 to 11, better in the second half as we're playing added time in the Gaelic grounds. As we see both two players down on the ground over at the far side. Not quite sure what happened here. There was a lot of roaring from underneath us from both sets of supporters. So trying to see who it is. It could be James Molyneux maybe with the yellow helmet.
It looks like James Molyneux, and it could be Brian
Nolan
Nolan
with
as
that
well.
green helmet, yes.
Both over in that far corner from us here. I think Brian Nolan probably cleared the last ball from that left corner back position. Followed the flight of the ball, so it didn't see what happened, but both players on the ground at the moment are and receiving treatment as well, and we're deep into injury time here now as well. There wasn't a board from the fourth officials to tell us, but there was quite a number of substitutions, and we did have a couple of stoppages as well for Brian Fitzgerald and for, I think there was one for Paul O'Brien earlier as well, so probably justified injury time, but not quite sure what happened here. Johnny Murphy is consulting with his umpires up to our left at the moment.
Is he going to take the book out? Well, he is, and it might be both players he's looking to speak with. So both back to their feet, and both fell to their feet as quick now as they got up. So it's James Molyneux and Brian Nolan going to be spoken to. So the ball was up the field. Jonathan Hayes coming down now. Did he see something that happened? And well, Brian Nolan will be sweating here because it could be a place in a county final that he will have to miss out on if he was to get a red. But let's hope that's not the case, indeed, for both men. But let's just wait and see what Johnny Murphy says. So James Molyneux and Brian Nolan being the men spoken to. Deep in injury time here. Patrickswell pretty much in the county final. And it's going to be themselves and Crow Kilfinney, as we see yellow from Johnny Murphy for both men. As we play down the final moments of this game, Murphy is looking around to see where the ball ended up after that play. As it's all gone a bit silent here now, and the air of inevitability is just about, well, it's been here for quite some time. As Brian Nolan coming away from James Molyneux for the final few moments of this, as Johnny Murphy is going to throw this one in up at the top, up near the 65. Between Paman and number 19, Niall O'Brien, who got that point a couple of moments ago for DromBroadford. It's O'Brien who gets the touch on it, but it's Jamie Dillon who wins it back off his left, down the far side to Shane Hannon. Gets that hand up well, turns the man. That's not Michael Ryan, who he's had a fine game this afternoon. It's Shane Hannon coming in and striking it in and over the crossbar. And really, he's been the talk of the last quarter, and he's got the final score of the game here on 37 minutes, and that includes, of course, the water break. Shane Hannon has made it a final score of Patrickswell, 3 goals in 15. DromBroadford, 11 points. And, to finish talking about the youngster that just came in, he has told Pat Dundon and company, I want to be wearing number 15 like I am now, but in that starting 15 for the county final next weekend.
Yeah, and it just shows, I suppose, the wealth of talent that at disposal of him. You know, I think when we look back through the starting team tonight, not too many weak points there for an opposition to try and exploit in a county final. They were really, really solid. They probably had their couple of spells where they just looked that little bit tired. Totally understandable given the circumstances. But they started so sharply. They looked really hungry for it. You can see the way they're, you know, congratulate each other there at the final whistle. It means a lot to them to get to this county final. Their use of the ball, the scores they took, they hit 13 wides, but again, you know, totally understandable. But really, really strong from their full back line, from their goalkeeper all the way up. I think they probably won all the duels across the field when you look at it over the 60 to 70 odd minutes. Management will be quite happy, and especially when, as you said, when they do have subs like that pushing for inclusion for the next day.
And it was Patrickswell, as Jerome said, were in the ascendancy from the start. Right from that first couple of moments when Jamie Dillon got their first score on 2 minutes, they led at the water break 1-6-3. That goal coming from Paul O'Brien, the Patrickswell full forward, on 10 minutes. In the second period of that first half, just before half time, it was Paul O'Brien again who got the vital score. That goal coming just on the short whistle as he made it 2 goals and 9 to 4 points as Patrickswell faced back in to the break at half time with DromBroadford. Again, the start of the second half very much belonged to the men in blue and gold, with Brian Fitz clipping over 2 excellent points before that purple patch for DromBroadford came. Dennis Dunnigan, Derry McCarthy with 5 before Shane Hannon stopped the rot for Patrickswell on the 52nd minute, with leaving it 2 goals and 12 to 8 points at that stage. And of course, from there, it was Patrickswell who just saw it home, and that final score of the game coming from the youngster Hannon, introduced in the final quarter, and who caused all sorts of wreck in that DromBroadford defence. It finishes up here. DromBroadford 3 goals and 15. DromBroadford 11 points. Patrickswell 3 goals and 15. The lineup for the County Junior Hurling Final of 2020 is known. It's Patrickswell and Crokilfinney at a venue next weekend. And Jerome, that promises to be a very, very keen encounter.
Yeah, certainly does. And as we mentioned earlier, a repeat of the round 1 tie of this championship way back on July 25th in 2020, Crokilfinney 315 to 212 winners on that occasion. But vastly different times when this county final will be played next weekend, and it'll be a very keenly contested final. Just looking through Patrickswell, and the 3 goals tonight brings them to 21 goals in 7 games, averaging 3 goals a game. And we saw it here again tonight, the number of times they created goal scoring opportunities, and no doubt about it, we'll have a big say in next weekend's county final.
Well, we thank you for your company with us this afternoon, and we hope you enjoyed our production and indeed the game. It was a fine game as it was. It's Patrickswell who will appear in their first County Junior A hurling final since 1999, and they will take on Western rivals Crokilfinney, making their first appearance in a county final since 2005. That awaits next weekend. Good night and God bless from the Gaelic grounds. Thank you for your company.